The project started on the day before the Brexit referendum. In a school where I worked as a cleaner, I was asked to clean a sports hall which was going to be set up as a polling station. I found it just a bit ironic that me, an immigrant from Eastern Europe, had to clean the polling station where judgment was going to be made upon my stay in the UK without my say whatsoever. And so I have filmed myself sweeping the floor of the polling booths, and I coupled this footage with Nigel Farage's xenophobic speech on immigration and how we, the immigrants, have run this country down.
Beat the late great screaming Lord Sutch by 164 votes, so I didn't come last. And now there are 17 million people that voted for Brexit. It's a victory for ordinary people, decent people.
I began looking into my own journey in Scotland more closely. I went to take a picture of the very first flat I was offered to move into, and I also took a picture of a flat in Glasgow that I only wish I could ever move into. I have digitally manipulated these two photographs in order to make them look like two floating islands. I was aiming to kind of imitate the UK islands, the dreamland for which I have left for and hope for a better future. For many of my immigrant friends and colleagues, Brexit imposed a huge threat. And understandably, this was the main topic of conversation for many of us. I have asked a number of them to take a random Polaroid snapshot and write down the very first thought or fear that comes in their mind when they hear the word Brexit. From personal files, I have pulled a few photographs that in some way enhanced my life in Scotland. Every single one of these photographs was minimized, roughly, to a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter scale, and was copied and pasted thousands of times till it created a pattern. That way, I made 10 different patterns, and in my most recent exhibition, these were presented as wallpapers. To find out what images were used for each individual wallpaper, the visitors were encouraged to use a magnifying glass, which was provided by the gallery. By using photographs from my personal family album and turning these into wallpapers, I wanted to express that I just sometimes feel like my life is a commodity in the hands of politicians. Amongst those images, you can find my Polish friend Kasia, who resides in the UK. She has adopted a dog from the Scottish Rescue, and when she's asked what is she going to do after Brexit, her reply is that she can't be deported because she's taking care of a Scottish dog. You can also find a photo of a Lithuanian ex-colleague of mine, Sandra, teaching us English between breaks. Within this notion, I dwelled into the history of the Polish soldiers that decided to reside in the UK after helping the UK fight against the Germans in the World War II. I contemplated on how the braveness of these soldiers impacted current political events, and I've also searched into the stereotypes of Eastern Europeans living in the UK. And there's also a photograph of my Scottish neighbour, Mary, who has found some comfort by hanging out with me and my daughter after her husband passed away. As a single mother, Brexit imposed a real threat to myself and my daughter. Being a cleaner already made me feel socially invisible at times. And now there was a real possibility that my and my daughter's life in the UK could be wiped out altogether now. As a finishing touch to this multi-layered body of work, I have also made a book which was consisted out of all of the wallpapers that I have created, as well as original images which were used for the wallpapers. A lot of you may not know, but this luxurious sense of stability comes roughly at the price of £2,000. The price, however, wasn't the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise was the test that has to be passed in order to obtain citizenship. I began to wonder how many of UK born and bred citizens could actually pass this test, as some of the questions were truly and utterly ridiculous. I guess what I wanted to show within this project, mostly, is the anxiety about life in the post-Brexit Britain, where many foreigners, like myself, are left to feel like we don't have any say, regardless of the fact that we have spent years on paying taxes and contributing to the local community as well. I hope that this project maybe helped some of the UK-born citizens understand the situation that some of us immigrants are left in, and maybe this project gave some sort of platform and a voice to some of the immigrants that didn't have a voice during the referendum. Thank you very much.